Welcome back, guys. This is round 4 of the TCS Rockets 1K. We have Colton on Hive Mind and Geo on Grixis Bowmaster. So, Scott, tell me your thoughts on this matchup.
Wow. So we're excited, right? We got Colton's Hive Mind on stream. Definitely not a very popular / common deck, but very explosive, very hard to navigate. You know, Geo is such a good Murktide player. Plays a lot of Modern. When he does play Legacy, he tends to be playing Blue-Red or Grixis. I don't know how familiar he's going to be to Hive Mind, and so it's going to be interesting to see what Geo thinks about this and or how he sideboards. But
it looks like Geo won the die roll and is starting off with a polluted delta. Looking at Colton's list, he's on blue-green
Hive Mind
Showtell with Veil of Summers.
Yeah, the crazy thing is that Colton is now jamming, as you can see in his opening hand,
all these cantrips.
No, the One Ring. So
yeah,
you know, the addition of the One Ring is really crazy. I was just talking to him before this match. He's really liking it. But I mean, when you're a combo deck and you're fogging, in the setting of I don't know, against elves or some sort of
storm
aggressive, that buys you another turn.
You're essentially really good in the storm with that too, because of your acceleration with your soul lands.
So Colton, I think very smartly, flooded Strand pass. So he knows he's playing against a wasteland deck. He's on the play, so he doesn't want to get behind in regards to having a DRC.
So we bin minor misstep off the Darcy and into the blind. I don't know how I feel about that, but I think it's not a bad play to try to ramp this DRC into Delirium, because you know we have instant in the graveyard now and a sorcery, so with the land we're almost there.
So actually, the Geo probably is going to be taking Bobble off this Ponder. He's going to be casting Bobble.
Agreed.
We're going to trigger again. Now we're on. So
I really like that.
Let's trigger DRC.
Now that we see that it deals to DRC.
We didn't trigger DRC, unfortunately, with that.
He knew the card with Ponder.
But still. Oh, okay.
He knew the order of Ponder.
Either way. It's good to be announcing your triggers just so we don't miss them in the future.
Agreed. I think he ignored it.
I think you're right.
He did mark the Bobble trigger.
Oh, let's draw
he drew for Bobble. He marked with the die. That's big.
Oh man, yeah. I think we just
double days, fours.
I think we just island pass. Oh, okay.
I think he's doing it now to avoid Bowmaster.
Away from
because if he does it on Geo's turn,
that's true.
And Geo flashes in a Bowmaster, and Colton forces a Bowmaster, and Geo dazes or forces back. That's pretty brutal.
That's true. I like that. I think earlier today I was pushing for Brainstorms while opponents are tapped out. This time, though, Colton is wants to be a quicker
opponent. Yeah, he wants to slam that combo
deck.
This combo's a little rough because it requires both Show and Tell and Hive Mind to be in hand. Not like Sneak and Show where you can just actually cast Sneak Attack pretty fairly easy. Hive Mind's expensive.
Sorry, cast Show and Tell.
No, hard cast. So
yes,
from a Sneak Attack angle, right? You can play Show and Tell for 3 or cast Sneak Attack for 4. For Hive Mind, you're trying to cast Show and Tell into Hive Mind, so it requires both pieces in hand that usually coexist together. Whereas like in a Sneak Attack deck, they can coexist apart.
I see what you're saying.
Because Hive Mind costs, what is it, 5 and a blue? I think that's what that costs. 6.
4 in a blue.
4 in a blue, 5. So I mean, it's a little expensive because you can skip a turn with Sneak Attack.
Okay, so he bends the Wasteland, which I like. All right, so DRC continues to. Okay, so Geo's getting a lot of days / force of will. So I think he probably puts What do we got there? Oh, that's an orc.
It's a
So
it's
I
a
think
DRC, an orc, a brainstorm, right?
and
Two
Murktide.
Murktide, not brainstorm. Murktide 2 days and then a golden charm.
So brainstorm down. So we play that. I think he wants to play the second DRC, and then he's got force and 2 days.
And a Murktide.
Well, most likely Pigeon of Force if Geo has seen what Colton has been playing.
So, on the flip side, he could swing next turn for 6, putting him to 8, then cast an 8/8 Murktide, losing the
if
delirium
we're
on the
not using the
Darkseas.
force,
Yeah.
if we're not
yeah.
using the force, yeah.
Well, he has the 2 days. He could pitch one of them to force and still have days backup. You don't need both days in the force,
I know,
do you?
but
I mean, you
I love
could.
that.
You
I
could. You could.
I love it. So he's gonna let it go, and keep DRC in hand. I mean, and Geo might be playing around the idea that actually Colton is Lotus Petal deck, might be playing days, so he might be putting Colton on Sneak and Show for what he's seen so far. Brainstorm, Lotus Petal.
Shout out to Geo catching that because I just played against him on Sneak and Show last night. And that's just very similar cards to what I played last night that he's seen. The only difference is he hasn't seen his Golden
That's
Time.
true. Flooded Strand. Yeah, Flooded Strand is fine. Okay, City. Yeah, I'm probably putting him on. Oh, wow.
That's really good.
Wow. Yeah, that's
So the
not...
question is, do we force that?
Actually, I kind of like the idea of trying 2 days here.
To force a pedal?
To get rid of Petal and then we force of will.
So I really like how Geo fetches first. Because now it gives him the chance to double days. Which is what you were speaking about a minute ago.
I like the idea of trying to see what Colton does with the days. We trigger the DRC, we get information. Let's see what.
So here comes days.
I like that.
Here comes the trigger. Looks like we left the trigger.
And then
Geo's deciding on the trigger. Because Colton stopped.
Alright.
Geo settles on the trigger and then Colton pays with the pedal. And here comes the second days, right? Yep. Floating a blue.
We got 1 blue. So Colton ends up wanting to... So, yeah. Well, getting rid of that ponder... Oh, that's
sudden substitution. And he's all like, what is that?
Yeah, we gotta read that. So, sudden substitution has split second. It's 2 blue, it's 2 colorless. And I think the wording is that we are changing control of a certain spell. We're changing the controller of target spell, and it has split second. So the Hive Mind here. So exchange control of target non-creature. Exchange control. So sorry. Exchange control of target non-creature spell and target creature. Then the spell's controller may choose new targets for it. So Hive Mind, even though it's called Hive Mind, an alternate win con, or one of its win cons, is that, you know, we have multiple packs that we are casting, and in against mid-range decks, sudden substitution ends up being really good, to where we grab DRC. They have a pact of the Titan, or they have a pact of Slaughter, or something to the point to where we end up having to pay the trigger next turn and losing if we are unable to pay it.
So it looks like Geo's still trying to fill his options here after that double days. It's pretty rough. But seeing the sudden substitution, I'm sure Geo's very confused unless he's played against Hive Mind. That card is not normal in most decks, and I don't think Geo plays enough Legacy to think of that unless he's already seen it. But he is a good pilot.
So unfortunately right now, Colton just has...
It's a really good Ancient Tomb. There's another ring.
So we're going to trigger ring. We are pro. DRC is going to take us to 6. Colton's going to be at 6. Ancient Tomb is already expediting.
He can't swing because of protection. That protection is so brutal.
That's right. You're right. Sorry.
And now he comes to turn, takes 1, goes to 8.
So we go to 8.
He's going to draw a card for turn and 2 cards with the ring and try to hit the combo. We have a brainstorm. That helps. I can't see what else is in its hand.
It looks like we
another
have
1 ring.
Is it?
The far left. It looks like another 1 ring to me.
Yeah. So we're not on Orc mana, so he wants to draw with the ring. Wow.
Force, sudden substitution, brainstorm.
All right, brainstorm, and let's see if we can put it to bed.
Yep.
I think this is the game plan for...
It looks like the packs inside of Colton's list are Pact of the Titan, and that in some respect.
So Colton likes the idea of playing the 1 ring again.
I think he likes the idea of looping the protection on the face of 2 Darcies at 4.
Yeah, I'm worried.
I feel like he has to
That's
do
good.
that to survive.
That's fine. That's fine.
Otherwise, he loses.
So he can't. So he's going to worry about playing in the bolt. So he's debating right now if he wants to draw off the ring, lose 1 life during upkeep. Okay. So we are.
I think going to 3 is fine because he has the force. That's
Oh, that's a force target.
That's fine because he's well, I mean,
No,
of course he's gonna force it, but that's fine because he has protection.
Oh, that's right.
He has protection from the ring, so the orc is fine. But let's see if they play this right.
Maybe Geo just.
Correct.
Oh. Because he wants to draw. That's fine.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's fine because it gives him another turn.
So we did
We
draw.
go to 3. Can't see what he drew for turn.
1, 2. All right, we got a ponder. What do we got? What do we got off the ponder?
The ponder, fetch, sudden substitution. What's the far left card? Is that Pact of the Titan?
No, I thought it was a Misty, is what I thought.
No, this right here. That looks like a Pact of the Titan.
Is that Pact?
It looks
Well,
red.
if it's Pact, he's going to be sudden substituting no matter what. But
He doesn't have the mana to do it.
he does. It's if it's Pact.
Fetch 2, and then he has to fetch again. It's 4. He can't cast both. Right? Double need.
We're
Oh,
3.
no, you're right. At 3. You're correct. No, yeah, he's a 2. The upkeep. He went to 3 off the force, and then the ping
force.
to 2.
I meant
Yeah.
force. Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
he
That's
can't
right.
cast it because Ancient Tomb would kill him.
Now, we just have to ponder. We just have to ponder.
Which is why I believe he forced the Bowmaster.
Well, yeah, we drew.
Because it gives you another
ponder.
turn.
Yeah. Oh yes, yeah. You're right. Bowmaster had to be forced. You're right. Nope, that's not going to be enough. Oh,
Nope.
shoot. Okay.
The problem is I still think Geo is super confused. This is a very difficult deck until you see Show into Hive Mind to know what's going on.
So right now, yeah, you're right.
All I know so far is sudden substitution. If you don't understand the lines of the deck, it's confusing.
Yeah, Colt needs to go to the next game. Let's just go. Okay. Oh, okay. We need we need Lotus. We need Lotus. No. Because I think we need more than all that. Yeah.
Yep. That's just how some combo decks go, where you can't get all the pieces.
So you're right. So Gio's going to be going into sideboarding most likely. He's got Rebs.
Reds are huge.
Pyroblast.
No Rod. No Rod's huge to slow the ring down.
So he did see the ring.
Yeah, so I think Red Blast and Pyroblast will come in. I think No Rod will come in. Maybe Meltdown, but that's kind of a stretch.
I don't like Meltdown.
Yeah, I don't like it either. Getting to that much mana is a lot. But Geo, maybe he's thinking about Meltdowns for the petals. Because, like, Colton is going to try to ramp turns with petals and get them out of his hand because he's playing against a black deck. Like, he doesn't know if Geo's playing Thoughtseize or not. So when you see black, you have to understand that like maybe the sideboard route is thought.
We're showing Hive Mind. We showed him Hive Mind.
Oh, so we showed him what the deck was on. Not exactly a fan of that for Colton, but you know, because it is a 1K, it is REL.
He's a gentleman.
He is a gentleman, though. Looking at Colton's sideboard, I see Archive Trap, Chain of Vapor, Defense Grid, Echoing Truth, Flusterstorm, Stifle, Surgical Veil. There's a lot of routes you can take with this. I kind of like the Defense Grid and the Flusterstorm route. There's also an argument for Veil of Summer and Surgical. Stifle is also really good to Stifle a Wasteland, Stifle a Fetch. All those little things to put him on the dang. Or even Stifle the only pack triggered his upkeep if he has to loop a pact.
Yeah.
So I really like Stifle. I really like the Veil of Summers. I just don't know what he's taking out. So like looking at this, maybe we take out Brainstorms because of Bowmaster, but then you have to think, how hard is it to hit your combo when you need all these pieces? Maybe he shaves a One Ring or two because of the Bowmaster. There's a lot of ways you can think about about that.
That's a good point.
I think this game, maybe the Bowmaster doesn't really affect the One Ring decision for Colton until he sees those no rods. If Geo sides a no rod and gets a no rod down, I think we're going to see a different sideboarding for game 3.
Yeah, I definitely love the Veil of Summer. Definitely love the Defense Grids.
I think no rod is a super popular card right now.
It is, but in Colton's mind, the One Ring is a luxury and is extra turns. You know?
It is. It's gross.
But it's not at the core of what he wants to do, which is I want to go fast.
Yeah, combo fast. Do a turn 1 with the show and tell. Show and tell, Hive Mind pack, go, you're dead.
But honestly, waiting a turn or two with Veil of Summer in hand is completely fine. Sudden substitution.
Okay,
being...
the dream is double veil, or veil for double petal veil.
True.
Soul Land, double petal veil, Hive Mind.
Oh man, if he has that in opening hand,
just puke it all out.
Forget about it. But no, I think that yeah, Colton isn't worried about artifact hate, and I think Geo. I'm okay with the null rod idea. I don't like the meltdown. Yeah.
It's also a shout out to Colton who made it in the top 2 in the last Legacy event we had here against Mike Burns on Blue Painter. Colton was playing Food Chain combo.
Yeah. Colton likes to play those
obscure decks. He likes a surprise.
But he'll bring, like some Bant, or some sort of 4-color control occasionally. But yeah, he does like to play a little bit of fringe. So I didn't see exactly what Colton had. I saw Flusterstorm. I think I saw the ring. Now Geo though, we got Volk, we got Brainstorm. Looks like Bobble,
Surgical, Minor Misstep,
Brazen, Brainstorm.
I really like
Surgical,
this hand.
yeah.
I know it does. I don't like the one land aspect of it, but
yeah, Geo is not on Thoughtseize, which
is interesting. But it's
okay,
a hard choice. It's a hard choice to make when you're sideboarding. You only have so many slots.
Yeah, in this instance, it would have been nice to have Thoughtseize. Again, now, granted, you're not coming to a tournament expecting to play against Hive Mind,
right?
Or if you do, you hope you dodge it.
Yeah.
But the idea of Thoughtseize Surgical is just a dream. But
I like the idea of
having a minor misstep.
Correct. So like
really
Geo, since he's on the draw, even though he's on one land, can kind of hope he gets there with this because he can just go land go and then minor misstep Colton's next cantrip or first cantrip if he doesn't play anything turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then or cast a Brainstorm and end step, which I don't agree with. I think untapping to see another card unless you draw a land here. Which he did draw a land here, so this is huge. He can go Volcanic Island go. And then he can counter Colton's cantrip with minor misstep. And then come to turn, cast his own Brainstorm, and shuffle it away. And that's even better for Geo.
So Colton drew Flusterstorm, which is interesting.
Here we go. Geo draws, and draws a Force. That's pretty good. one of the cards you want to see into a combo matchup for sure. Even though Fluster's probably gonna do quite a bit into this. So he fetches in response. I'm not sure I like this if he flusters this brainstorm. Unless he's brainstorming in response.
Yeah, this is aggressive.
It is a little bit of an aggressive fetch. We'll see what he does. I'm not sure where his mind is at for this. Could be to brainstorm in response or fluster, but if it's a fluster, I'm not sure I like that.
Yeah, the brainstorm with polluted delta open is also...
It is a fluster. See, the fluster's interesting here because it's going to force Geo to keep what he has, but what Colton doesn't know is Geo's hand is pretty good. I think Colton was flustering in regards to Geo main phasing the brainstorm, but the fetch is already showing. So I think Geo, maybe if he could have baited that a little... I mean, he still got the card out, but maybe he would have baited a little harder leading with brainstorm, not showing the fetch.
Alright, so we drew Ancient Tomb.
That's a pretty good draw.
So we got Show and Tell in hand, and it looks like we've got a fetch in hand.
So here comes the brainstorm. Here comes the fetch and the minor misstep. I really like this play from Geo. This is pretty big. What is Colton going to do about the misstep? Because he really needs that brainstorm.
Oh, he has to
let it go.
Now, I wonder if Surgical ends up being...
I wouldn't surgical the brainstorm here. I think I would wait for the first... Actually, I might have already surgical the...
He's actually wanting to force whatever payoff Colton has.
Yeah, and then surgical it. But I think I would be getting... Okay, yeah, I'm going to be going on that fluster.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay,
I think I picked fluster here.
Well,
he's already played 2 flusters, so no.
Yeah.
If it was one showing, then no. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, brainstorm's smart. I thought there was only one fluster in the grave. I missed the first. But I think I would be going on the fluster. Just to, I'm not having to play around that. Because there could be more. But with there being 2 there, so... Now Geo has an idea what's in his deck, and I think he also did that too to get a little bit of vision. Now he's reading.
All right, so now Geo is getting perfect information in regards to what he's up against.
I really like that surgical for that reason too.
Yeah. He didn't know about Veil, so he knows that he's up against 4 Veils. Which is
crazy. 2 side, 2 main.
Which is, I love it. I love the idea of two main Veils.
We're still okay here for Colton though, because he could draw a Veil and draw Hive Mind.
Well, yeah. So
we
got a few different things.
Land that show and tell.
Well, we need a couple of different things. So he needs a pack spell.
And he needs a Hive Mind.
And the show actually yeah, so we're playing, we may or may not be playing Ancient Tomb. We don't have brainstorms anymore, so unfortunately we can't
shuffle stuff away. I wonder if this Ancient Tomb play is good because he knows Geo's on Wasteland, because I could just Wasteland him out of the game.
I think that's fine.
Are we wanting that though?
Geo, if we're Wastelanding, Geo ends up being just a land down at that point.
Shout out to Geo with his foreign white border Italian duels.
I expect
we are hard casting Brazen Borrower. I don't mind that. Because honestly,
the clock is on.
Yeah, the clock is on, but even landing a Hive Mind Brazen Borrower is not doing a whole much with the Pact being at instant speed. It's still gonna go off.
Yeah, Colton's in a rough spot.
That's for sure. Geo is showing why Grixis is a strong list right now. We haven't even seen that much from Bowmaster.
So we got Daze and we got 2 Force of Wills. Geo's sitting
with the Borrower. It's sitting pretty nice.
Now he just top decks Murktide, and then
game's over. Potentially with the Murktide.
Yeah, but like I said, if Colton I may not have said.
Yeah, that's a 7/7 Murktide currently with the way his graveyard is ordered.
If Colton top decks what he needs, then that's tough too. Having split second on sudden substitution is really tough.
I agree with that. It's also good.
So he's fetching because
he's deck thinning. He doesn't want to draw another land. He has enough to cast sudden substitution and one of the pack spells.
So he's fetching for basics. He's telling us he doesn't have Veil of Summer in hand unless he drops Lotus Petal.
I don't think he's going to play to the Veil route. I think he's going to play the sudden substitution route.
Okay, so
here's the show and tell.
So interestingly enough, I didn't see what Colton has in hand.
I didn't either.
I wonder if
one of them feels like sudden substitution though.
Well, so he's telling us he has Hive Mind in hand, but I wonder if you bait right now because he got nothing. Because he's actually got a hard cast Hive Mind.
So I really like this from Geo to hard cast days, forcing Colton to pay the 2 to tap Ancient Tomb. And then if Colton doesn't have sudden substitution, you have force pitch days in hand. So Colton will go to 12 and then go to 9 off the Brazen Bar, or he force pitches. That's not bad too. That's good. I think the days play would have been really sick. Because you basically force that Ancient Tomb to tap, and then you go further down, and the pressure is still on. We'll see if it becomes relevant. So he does have sudden substitution in hand. That's what I was feeling. I liked that. Because he would have put another land into play with show and tell. So Colton baited out the force.
Yes.
I would have rather baited out the days. Which he wouldn't have paid for. But it would have made Geo feel like, I could pressure this clock with a force days, draw another blue card, have force days back up.
Yep.
Drawing Darcy there is pretty big. That looks like it's not.
It is not.
It's not
so
delirious. We're one short.
We do not have creature.
Yeah.
So what did we draw here?
He drew Darcy as days.
No, Colton. So Colton still has sudden substitution, and one ring would be good here. We didn't see what Geo boarded out.
We didn't. They've been pretty concealing.
I
don't mind
he
it, though.
would have. Colton probably is still worried a tad about Orcs, so he might be.
Here comes the trap, I
ginger about
believe. No,
Wow.
he skipped it.
He
No, either. Yeah, here comes the trap. So this is trying to telegraph that he has Veil, but I don't think he has Veil. So Colton's really trying to play to his outs here to bait these counter spells.
And even if Geo is holding back a wasteland, so be it. Who
Correct.
cares?
Correct. Give it to Geo for playing this pretty smooth, considering he was very confused, I'm sure, at the beginning. This is a really weird deck to sit across from. Here comes Pact of the Titan.
Oh no.
And sudden substitution.
No. Oh no,
We are dead.
The other thing is that interestingly enough,
Actually, we are not dead. He can paper pack, right?
No, he can't.
It's
5.
One short.
So
I thought it was 4.
So interestingly enough, you do have to go before your opponent gets to 5 mana. I never really kind of thought about that because typically you do. But wow. So Colton naturally had that.
Yep.
And he baited with the show and tell.
He did.
Which
wouldn't have mattered if he baited with the show and tell or not because it's split second.
So he held priority.
Yeah.
Sudden substitution. No. So
you can still force the pack.
So we switch control, and then sudden substitution down.
And you're forcing the pack to,
and then you
to
force
get rid
the
of it.
pack.
Yeah.
So
that's what I expected. That's what I was hoping Geo would have just
which
done
is
the
why
days
I
play.
always thought it like Chalice on 0 against Hive Mind. I think technically
It's good.
is not what I was thinking is not good because we trigger a copy. So sudden substitution.
Oh, only if
Right.
Hive Mind is out.
But if Hive Mind is out, Chalice not good.
Correct.
Because we still
without
copy,
Hive Mind,
and then it's like, oh my
yeah.
gosh, it still resolves through
Yeah.
Chalice, and so that stinks. Which is part of the brilliance to Hive Mind, I guess. But
Zach. Shout out to Zach Miles, who
Oh my goodness.
is usually on this side of the broadcast, calling his Colton Gamer Cutie. Colton played that very, very well,
Yeah, he
baiting
did.
out the force.
Yeah, I did.
In Geo's shoes, though, I think that's what you go for, knowing.
Oh yeah, I'm forcing the show
Yeah,
and tell.
knowing
I'm
what's
forcing the show and
happening.
tell. Yeah.
Shuffling up for a game 3. Colton doesn't appear to have changed his board at all. Geo is swapping a card, it looks like. I didn't see what he grabbed, but he is looking quickly through his deck to find what he wants to switch it with.
So I think Gio wanted to see a Murktide.
Oh, I absolutely wanted to see a Murktide there. That would have
Was
pushed
as
that game.
opposed to
Yeah, so
DSP.
drawing a Murktide the turn after he played the Brazen Bar
Ooh,
would have
he
been
He
insane.
shaved the Ponder last game, which I don't.
There's the Null Rod. I really like the Null Rod.
Which I don't. I feel like I'm never shaving Ponder, but
He put it back.
yeah, I
couldn't
like.
see what he put away.
I want to
He's
keep
moving
the.
so
I want to keep the
fast.
4 Ponders. It's an interesting thought.
Yeah, but I think that would have been Geo's game if he would have drew a Murktide the turn after he flashed Brazen Barwin, because that Murktide would have been a 7/7 and would have went 10, you're dead.
So Geo, really with Grixis, is really well set up. It would be nice to have the Thoughtseize though, but Colton drew into what he needed and closed it out, and he played it well.
Also, good to note that this deck is meant to be concealed until you got getted by the combo. And it's not exactly great to play around when your opponent knows that you're on days, knows you're on force, and baits those cards out or plays Veil of Summer, which is definitely what he just did. He baited out the force with the show and tell, and Geo had another force in hand, but he didn't have a blue card, so Colton just went for it. And had the Ancient Tomb in case his opponent other card in hand was days. You're also not really worrying about the Pact of the Titan creature. You're sending the Pact trigger upkeep to pay, and that's what ends the game. So Summoner's Pact here is pretty nuts when Geo can't pay, the double green and 2.
That's a good point. So the packs that we are actually playing are Pact of the Titan, and it looks like that's
And Summoner's
and
Pact.
Summoner's Pact. Okay, yeah, I've seen Slaughter Pacts. I've seen almost kind of like if you're playing more of a stifle heavy Hive Mind deck, like mainboarding 3. He's trying to force the 1 ring in this, so he probably shaves some stifles and put it in the side. You put 1 stifle on the side. But the idea of like Pact of Negation.
Well, there's no Stifles main board.
Right.
It's just the one
So
side.
I think he shaved them for the 1 ring
I agree with that.
To where maybe you're playing a little bit more packs like Slaughter Pact, stifling your own trigger, not losing the game.
So the Veil conversation was beforehand for your combo not getting countered by blue. You're playing on words and not paying attention to the order in which they're said. So you're using blue as a form of my spells have hexproof and can't be countered against blue and black and can't be countered until end of turn. That's the conversation with Veil, not the pack trigger. We're talking about the pack trigger being stifled by Colton or sudden substitution to the other person to where they don't have the ability to pay it, which is what Colton just did. Colton played that very well because he forced the Force of Will pitch for the show and tell, making it seem like he had Hive Mind, and Geo, made the force call, and now Colton went straight for it, knowing that he was protected by having the mana for days.
All right, so now we got Orc, Wasteland, Force of Will. Wasteland probably our weakest card right now, so it's probably sitting at the bottom. We'll get fetched away.
It's also worth noting that these two players' deck lists are the most legible deck lists we've read all day. I can appreciate that, except for Brian Bell. His list was typed. Nemo's was also typed, but it was in a Gmail. It was in a Gmail format.
So
Shout out to our
Ancient
lover
Tomb,
Nemo.
Defense Grid. Oh, what a good turn. Unfortunately,
Defense Grid's so good, and we're forcing the days.
forcing.
Yeah.
So he's throwing away Force because
I don't
Defense
think he
Grid he
cares.
played. Well, yeah. So he can't even
Correct.
force it.
And here
that
comes
point,
Geo if he's playing this.
So now he's like, okay, I do like the wasteland route.
Yeah, if he's playing this, he's just gonna waste a turn in wasteland. That ain't
Force of
Ancient
Will
Tomb.
feels bad right now.
I mean, we're stuck. We're stuck under the
We play
the
Island.
Yep.
Pass.
Now we have to see how fast Geo can play into this.
Yep. We go ahead and we play a land. We pass.
I like that turn 1 defense grid though out of the sideboard. That's nuts. When I play combo, defense grid usually likes something I like to lean into too, because it's Ancient Tomb defense grid's a rough thing to come back from. But on a double-edged sword, Colton is playing into Geo, who does play Wasteland. So I mean, here that's the price you pay for going for it. Colton plays Tropical Island. Here could be Geo's second Wasteland in hand.
Yeah, so that's going to be a Wasteland target at this point. I think Colton has a couple more lands in hand.
Yeah, I would have prioritized the fetch over the...
Yeah, probably. I like that.
Because here comes the Wasteland to get rid of it.
But
now both
again,
players are just playing on their turn only. I wonder what the mindset for that is.
Fine. So we're probably going to he draws Preordain. We're probably going to
Which is great. Preordain, you're not, even if Geo had 2 mana, you're not worrying about that because of defense grid. So all these things show you that you're kind of in the clear.
All right, so we're going to have to play a land and Brainstorm. He's not going to...
I mean, you could scry one of them away and draw one.
Well, what I'm worried is that Geo is gonna.
Oh, you're talking about Geo. I'm on Colton. Colton's active.
Yeah, no. Me too. But he's gonna have to brainstorm now, obviously, and so now we get that in. I just didn't want him to keep that brainstorm.
Oh, in case he drops the second land and main phases the Orc. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, main phase Orc might be
next turn.
Main phase Orc is gonna be a thing with this defense grid now.
Now Colton may not worry as much about life total.
Is that that's a Hive Mind in his hand? Is that also a show and tell in the middle?
I think so.
Next to that island.
So next turn, Colton looks like he's got things going on in regards to maybe getting a couple of his pieces assembled. Just needs a Summoner's Pact and or.
So he tucks the Hive Mind away. I believe he's just trying. No, it's actually still there.
Yeah, I think
maybe it's
he saw surgical. So he saw surgical.
He
so he's going to be careful about tucking. His
Yeah.
combo pieces so they don't get shuffled away.
Yeah.
So Geo's gonna play Volk, and then we're gonna Orc probably.
Actually, I think that was the second Hive Mind.
Wait, is that a Braids and Borrow? Oh, so if we bounce Defense Grid, then our force is good.
Correct.
Murktide is good now. So he.
I wouldn't play Murktide right now, knowing there's a grid out with 2 mana.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just that Geo has a lot of more plays than I thought he was going to end up having.
Yeah, the Brazen Bar or bouncing that defense grid could be good, but also you're going to end up 3-for-1ing yourself because you have to force pitch.
And that's fine because
it?
Well, by now
it clears his hand.
If I'm Colton, I'm throwing my Force of Wills back, and Geo's got Force of Will.
I mean, but you're fine with that because if you're forcing that defense grid, then you're using the force on that, and it expects you to have another set of forces for your show and tell.
Yeah, it does burn a turn.
Correct.
Though.
Well, it burns a turn, and so if I'm Colton, I'm fine with this. I'm gonna come to turn. I'm gonna draw, play another land, and replay that defense grid, and it's gonna get forced. But then I'm gonna slam show and tell the following turn. That's even better. He can go island, defense grid, and then ponder freely, unless Geo has a daze, which Geo looks like he has a forest, Murktide, a couple Bowmasters, and I can't read the other card.
Wow, Colton.
Ancient Tomb defense grid. That's even better.
Wow.
That is even better. Here goes the force. And you just let it happen. Yeah. Now you're going to... I would ponder here.
Yeah, so he's going to end up...
I would definitely ponder here.
So we ponder with Odawara at this point. Okay. Yeah.
I think we do it with the island to maybe think we're on days.
No, we're playing against Wasteland, so let's use up Odawara. And leave up Basic Island. I like that more.
So we're looking at 2 rings and I think a Hive Mind. I wonder if he he shuffles, right? No, he takes the 1 ring? Okay.
That's fine.
So he takes the 1 ring as a form of backup. Yeah, set up in a form of backup.
Oh, so good top deck on the Murktide.
So what do we do here? Because we can't cast both Murktides. Right? Or we pitched the Murktide before.
But we
still have a Murktide. Yeah, so he passes.
He wants the Orc on. All right, so
here comes the island.
like this.
Here
Alright, so we're
comes the
taking 2.
ring.
So we let Ancient Tomb kind of kill us. We start, yeah.
Here comes the Orc.
So allow ETB.
So I really like this play from Geo because doesn't he have another Orc in hand? Sure, the One Ring here
Gives you pro.
gives you pro for a turn, but then after that you're staring down the barrel of 2 Orcish Bowmasters making a humongous Orc army. You know, that Orc army off a single ring trigger for the first card, it's gonna immediately jump to a 3/3 because, or a 4/4. I'm sorry, because you're gonna have the a 3/3. No, it'd be a 4/4. 4/4. Well, you have the ETB going to 2, and then both triggers on the Orc Bowmasters themselves.
Oh,
Null Rod is huge.
All right,
I
let's
really
activate
like
that
it.
ring.
Yeah.
Let's trigger the Orc.
And then can't ping anything, but it does go
He does.
up.
So he has to ping himself, or he has to ping its own Orc, or he has to ping the army. Wait, hold on. So where's the target? So we have to target something, unfortunately. So we draw, we trigger. And I think Geo is already pinging himself.
He did.
And
smart
so, Orc army goes
I don't
to
hate
2.
that.
And
I don't hate that.
I don't think we have. Did we have land? No, we've been drawing just gasoline. So Murktide, Null Rod.
I mean, Murktide doing Murktide things, surviving off 2 lands.
Yeah.
Any form of that deck usually does very well with just 2 lands. Obviously, more lands are helpful, but he's operating at a pretty good capacity here.
So One Ring.
We go to 11.
One Ring is going to end up being.
I really like the 11 because the One Ring is now locked under the Null Rod.
Yeah.
Geo has a next turn another Bowmaster.
So Colton has another One Ring just to if he starts getting into trouble with too much life loss.
Yeah, but he has to use the Ancient Tomb to do it, unless he plays that 4th.
That's true.
Unless he plays that 3rd island.
Yeah.
Which I believe he's gonna do it. Yep.
Yeah.
So here comes that other One Ring.
So we have pro.
I don't hate this.
We have pro. Yeah. We have
I don't hate this
turn.
because of the protection for a turn.
Yeah, Colton needs to get into. Unfortunately, now that Orc's in place, any top deck brainstorm or ponder is going to feel a little bad.
So we're gonna ponder here, and that's pretty good. We see DRC Wasteland, which is massive. Force, which is also massive. He still has that Murktide in hand. I think I'm stacking this with the Force and taking it and having the Wasteland the following turn. That way we Wasteland him the following turn off Ancient Tomb, while we still have Force in hand and we're swinging with the Orcs.
I think that's fine.
I like that idea a lot, because now Colton is stuck behind that Null Rod.
Yeah, we definitely grab Force. So Colton needs.
Geo's just trying to decide if he values that Wasteland over the DRC. Or, hear me out, what if he just grabs that DRC and just slams it? Which he took the Force. I don't hate the Force.
Yeah, problem is we're naked.
I agree with it being naked, but you're also trying to lock down this One Ring. So Colton, I can't tell what he drew. We're going to find out real quick. Here comes Show and Tell, which this is a really good Force target. I'm thinking you're just going to go in on this knowing what's going on, and you're going to have to be okay with the results whether you like it or not. Simply because you have that good board state.
You know, the beauty of Null Rod in place, if Null Rod wasn't out, having Orc in play to kind of control the One Ring ends up not being as good, just based off the fact that if he has 1 or 2 turns left, you know, that Colton is worried, he can still use the ring. Yeah, he gets pinged. Yeah, the Orc army gets bigger, but he ends up drawing 1 to 3 cards. You know,
so you're talking about if he had the Otawara in hand? How is he getting?
No. If no Null Rod.
Oh, no Null Rod. Okay.
And if he's like, well, you know what? I got nothing going on. I do need the card draw. I might be able to last a turn or 2.
So here comes the Force Murktide, and I don't hate it. Colton's at 11.
I think he has to.
I agree with that. The issue is I think Colton has another Show and Tell in hand. I think he drew a second Show and Tell. Could be wrong.
Yeah, no, you're right. As in, you're correct. So yeah, so I think that we just
I think I've seen Show and Tell Hive Mind and not any of the packs, but that obviously doesn't mean that he can't just draw one.
so I think Colton is actually discussing if okay, he doesn't want to use the Ancient Tomb, and that's fine. Oh. So I think Geo.
So I'm slamming this Wasteland on that Ancient Tomb.
Really? So I was
Yeah.
thinking of the idea. Okay, so second Orc.
Simply because I'm going to telegraph like I have days, right?
Well, I was thinking now we're on Brazen Borrower mana, and so the idea of end step Brazen Borrower a little bit quicker clock.
No, because you're amassing the Orc. That Orc amass is pretty
And that's
big.
fine.
And
Yeah.
I don't like the Brazen Borrower right there because you want them to have to cast a cantrip in the face of 2 Bowmasters. Maybe holding it to like catch them with it, but I like how Geo did this to pressure that extra damage from the Orc.
So we did draw a preordain, so I think that he has to take it.
Correct, which hurts immensely. This is preordained for game. That Orc is going to go to 4, or I'm sorry, 5, and he's going to point 2 damage.
So we ping.
So I see an Ancient Tomb, which is clearly going. They're both going to the bottom. What do we draw? Did we draw it?
Ping.
I can't see what we drew. Show
What we
to
got?
Hive
What we got?
Mind, Ponder. That's
Oh.
unfortunate.
So if we get
This looks to be game to me, unless he ponders into. Nope, it doesn't even matter what he ponders into.
yeah, that's game.
Yep. That Wasteland was huge. Ancient Tomb would have left it there. He could have went to 2. He could have pondered into a pact and Ancient Tombed. Oh, he's.
I love it. That's sure, fine, play it.
Oh, and he hits it.
Oh.
He hits it, but it's too late. It's too late.
Poor Colton.
Poor
Oh
Colton.
man.
Never look.
Oh man.
Never look.
We need that. You were so right. Yeah.
Never look. Well, that was pretty brutal for Colton. He just couldn't get the combo pieces. Like, that's part of running a combo deck.
But
Speaking from someone that plays Show and Tell and Sneak and Show.
The plays by both players.
They were good.
I really liked
Colton's navigating game 2 to bait out that force was super, super good. Getting him to pitch the days. That was very good.
Yeah.
And I give it to Geo, like, Geo kind of top deck like a god there hitting that Null Rod. That was so big into that ring.
The Murktide into Null Rod, and then he found a force off that Ponder. So good draws for Geo, but also very well played.
It was very well played by both of them.
Yeah.
Colton was just a little unfortunate with how he drew, and Geo drew
And
really well.
That's the problem with A plus B.
Yep, A plus B combo.
A plus B plus
Well, you're also
C.
yeah, A plus B plus C into
Or A plus B.
Yeah, into a meta now where you get punished for cantrips. So when you're playing a combo deck where you have to cantrip a lot and there's Bowmasters, you have to either kill the Bowmasters, play around them, suck it up, and take the damage, which is what Colton tried to do. It doesn't make it any easier to play. But that'll wrap us up for round 4. We'll have one more round, and then we will cut to top 8. Thank you, guys.